Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed some VALORANT. Some VALORANT of all time. After a 10-4 start for TSM, the sun finally set in overtime 14-12. But Roy, it felt like small mistakes, from both sides, led to big shifts in those rounds. And it really felt like Sim especially willed so many wins into existence.
Yeah, I'm going to circle back to Sim in a second here, but I do want to say that the first 14 rounds, TSM did look much more convincingly better on the map than Oxygen did, which is a little surprising because, we mentioned it, right? This is statistically Oxygen's best map, and the fact that the first 14 rounds were so convincingly one-sided for TSM made this extremely it's concerning in some ways, right? But yeah, to circle back to Sim now, it was a duelist diff, and there's just no way around that topic, right? Like, it's 9 first bloods for Sim versus Redux's 1. Redux did heat up a little towards the end, but overall, it was a TSM and Sim show.
Okay, we saw it in the cams, just how much you could tell in Redux's face. Like, this wasn't his day, and he knew how important he was in this team to really step up and to carry them through these big moments. Like, Sim had so many 4Ks earlier on that we really thought it was a duelist diff for the longest time.
Yeah, look, what Roy said, it was a duelist diff for the longest time. It was very, very interesting to see Sim maneuver around the map that we thought that Dapper would be good at shutting down with the tripwires, but I don't think there was a single instance of that Neon getting hit by the trips at all. Now, I do want to briefly lore dump a little bit here for Oxygen. I can see why Redux might be a little bit more tense for this matchup specifically. Facing elimination, sure, but this is the same exact spot Oxygen was last year when they got eliminated from playoffs. Ooh. Now, they were eliminated by, a small little team that you may have heard of, now known as G2, and they're not here this time. But with TSM showing up so much this first map, they're giving Oxygen a true run for their money.
Yeah, that was some pretty cool lore, to be honest. That is a very interesting thing. Like, are they going to succumb to the pressure? Are they going to overcome it, right? Like, this is kind of a tough battle for them. But to circle back on the performances, right? Like, look at the first bloods for both of these teams. 18 for TSM versus Oxygen's 8. That means that the early successes from TSM were looking like their game plan was in full action. Everything they were doing in the early game was working exactly how they wanted it to.
And we giggle because both these teams are in this position for a reason, but this wasn't the cleanest VALORANT we've seen. Like, Oxygen pulled some rounds from killing a diffuser last second, getting better trades on the flank, simply being better mechanically under pressure, and that experience showed, while TSM threw some rounds together from the sheer willpower of Sim, who would just high gear out of smoke. He had rounds where he got 4Ks. Like, no one stopped Sim, and that was my biggest issue, is like, I thought the Cypher was going to have a bigger impact on slowing down this Neon and really keeping Sim humble. But Sim was just so good at kind of bringing his team together. It wasn't maybe just him solo, but him and Seven together.
Absolutely. Again, we mentioned Seven, right? Like, whenever Seven is having a good game, it seems like he's the sort of the glue that differentiates TSM from looking like kind of like a middle of the pack team versus like a truly top 4 team, right? And then in this series, it was the Sim show, it was the Seven show. Now, of course, GMD, Proto, and Poise did all have their moments as well, and they've all contributed to it. But overall, it really did feel like the Sim and Seven show.
At least Redux did step up, and you pointed out the first blood percentage of just like 18 to something. Like, so many 4v5s had to be pulled out by Oxygen to just even put us into an overtime position. But our next map is going to be Bind, which is TSM's map pick, and the casters talked about how worrisome it was for TSM to already win Sunset after just how experienced Oxygen were here. Now, Keg, this is TSM's map pick here on Bind, their most played map at that, 7 times with a 71% win rate. Is TSM getting top 3 out of this?
Well, why I did bring up that TSM does get the most amount of pistol rounds inside the entirety of what's left of Challengers, right? So that's a very good advantage that they have to build up an early economy. But Oxygen did recently beat TSM on this map. This is going to be the test for TSM to see if they can make that Sunset not just a fluke, take things from one small map to another one, and make it similarly just an eco haven for themselves.
And I think because game one was so full of small, stupid mistakes, like that you would never do in scrims, that you would never do in the regular season, that it's how you mentally bounce back from something like this. And also TSM is going up against Oxygen, who have only lost this map to Dark Zeros. So Roy, I don't think the series is over by any regard.
No, absolutely. I mean, Oxygen is the type of team that will definitely bounce back, but there are some questions, right, in terms of now that we're on the topic of psychology, is Oxygen hasn't really been in the situation before where like they're kind of in the do or die situation. They're in lowers and they've dropped the first map, a map that, yeah, despite them having lost, you know, they were down 10-4, the comeback still looked very real. They almost fumbled it, right? Like they had the bag almost secured towards the end and then absolutely fumbled it right at the finishing line, dropping it to TSM. So now we're going into a second map, which is TSM's map pick. So the mental has to sort of be in disarray. At least maybe they can recover it somehow internally, but it is definitely in disarray to some degree.
And because compositionally, we might see a big difference where it's TSM that like to run the Deadlock, one of the few teams that still like to run a Sentinel, while as Oxygen prefer the Viper or the double controller with the Brimstone. Keg, what are your thoughts on the compositional differences we may see on Bind?
I'm gonna be honest, after watching that first map, I don't know. It could be really anything at this point. I would like to see the Deadlock. I think that'd be fascinating, but I think both these teams still need to play safe.
Well, we'll see if they actually lock the Deadlock. Our Blacklight Agent Select is ready, so we'll see if the Deadlock makes a return once again for TSM. It's something they've run since the beginning of the stage, and not only are we seeing Deadlock, we're seeing a Yoru Deadlock from Oxygen.
Whoa, okay, this is not what we were ready for. This is wild change from Oxygen Esports. I mean, just a reminder to everybody, they were running the Viper Gecko, it was double initiator, double controllers, but now we're looking at something completely different. They've swapped their Viper into an Omen. They've brought in the Deadlock for a Gecko. They've swapped their Raze for Yoru. That means they're bringing in a game plan that they have not shown a possible trap set for TSM picking this map.
And after Mitch runs so much Sky on this map, and overall it seems like Sky was his better initiator, his most comfortable one, and Verno to be on your, you know what? Let him cook. I am excited for this TSM match point. Will they advance to top 3 and knock out our mid-season champs of Oxygen Esports? Let's find out now, and let's hear it from Uber and Wyatt.
Okay, well, a lot to talk about here based on this Agent Select, Wyatt. We've seen the Yoru on Bind, which is something that I haven't seen consistently since Sentinels in kickoff.
Like tens.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't remember.
On this map. So obviously you can reinforce those sites pretty effectively, and you can also imply more presence at like showers if you're attacking at the start of the round, and then sort of TP out. So it's fun, but doesn't really have the the guts to take down this tried and true setup for TSM that of course also features a Deadlock, which they made look very good.
We've definitely been seeing more Deadlock on Bind generally. TSM have been running this. MIBR ran it in VCT partnerships. The Yoru Deadlock we see on Ascent from M80, but I've never seen it on Bind. Also, importantly to me, it's Verno playing Yoru, which, hey, listen, it might work out. He's got the hot hand. Pass him the ball. He was the one for Oxygen that was going off on the last map. So maybe he can be the difference maker as Redux picks up the Brim.
Yeah, it's the Cryo Cells vibe. I'm telling you.
It might be. It might be.
So Verno does at least use that clone to clear into shower early in the round. There is a gate crash over towards B-Long. So this is very much how we've seen this map played in the past. And the last time we saw Oxygen on this map with that different cop was like a month ago, right? Is a TP crunch though. Dapper has to back up on this. It's about to get ugly. Oh, love that. Gravnet gets some value. It will be traded though, but Sim is stuck in here for all intents and purposes. So 7 and Co have to bail him out from Hookah, and they walk headlong into Redux. Doesn't matter what agent he's on, he's still hitting.
Yeah, I don't know about that from TSM. Some unnecessary aggression. Frankly, I think they could have waited things out. Allowed Oxygen to come to them. Oh my god, GMD almost making magic happen with the right clicks, but eventually will be traded out by Redux, the newly minted Brim. Already 3-0. We'll take that.
So, I mean, there's even more to talk about with this comp as we sort of see the moments when that pistol round go down. We also see the annoying Omen being brought in here for Oxygen, right? Something alongside the Brim. Not normally see them in combo, right? Normally, like we've seen Viper on this map, but those one-ways are really annoying. And as well as the one-way towards the top of B-Long. that actually, you know, threatens to split up a double face if TSM try and go for one of those like they have now.
I mean,
A one-way here will force Sim out of that position or force him to fight solo. They've done it here.
Yeah, this double controller is the evil genius's look.
Yes.
Poised, forced to retreat.
Yeah, it used to be Superman on that Omen, or it was. Here's Redux. Does get a bit of action here. More than happy to keep them in arm's length, though, given he is holding onto the Vandal.
Oh, a couple sheriffs for TSM, and there's one from GMD.
Werner's there to pick up the pieces at the very least, but that is good. It's going to be tough for TSM to get reliable info early in the round because Yoru can obviously reposition across the map at the flick of his fingers. And they've opted to go all the way to B off this, despite the fact that they do see the spike go loose with that kill. Made the wrong call, TSM.
Still early enough that they may be able to rotate back. It's just going to be GMD. I mean, if he gets a second here, pretty close, but will be eventually shut down by Verno as the spike will make its way to the site and the barrier mesh goes up. It's a lot of teleports and Oxygen. They can just teleport right out of there and go straight back to B.
There is zero reason for them to stay at the B site whatsoever. So out they go. Rather, no reason to stay at A, should I say. Over to B we go. And again, that kill at the start of the round from Gimon out of showers doesn't really amount to anything. And also, doesn't even allow TSM to make an informed decision about where to stack with just these pistols. So here they come through TPs. We're going to have a lot of their deadlock util set up. Whatever was brought into the round by Oxygen. Grenade! See that sonic sensor just by Mitch there.
And Mitch didn't even want to mess around. Was in hookah. Just drops out immediately, playing it safe. Set up the crossfires with everyone else. Sim with that. Oh, there's Sheriff. Nice shots from Mitch. Get traded out, so a couple guns lost actually. A Pro takes down Dapper 2. That was just the ghost. But still, kills found. Not bad from TSM. They'll be content
I think it was
with
like
that.
Stingers and ghosts. I think that Mitch was sort of sat in that corner with the ghost out because that's the only weapon that gets some value from that position. But around, you feel like it could have been a bit more for TSM after finding that first pick. But at some point, you have to make a decision about where to stack on a round like that. Decent damage. You'll notice that Oxygen here buy up with 4 players with only half armor. TSM, of course, ready to get into the game.
GMD as well, with the kills that he has been getting, is getting relatively close to his ultimate early into this game. Now, previously, TSM on this map, a Proto was very focused on using his utility towards Shower and having the barrier mesh in the mid-round to deny pushes up in this area of the map. Sort of placed just in front of Verno here. And so that's something that Oxygen will have definitely picked up from watching the TSM VODs on this map. Given they've been playing it actively, it's been a go-to pick, and they have looked good here.
Very much a default setup here for Oxygen. Sim goes searching for answers. He comes off second best there, extending pretty deeply into the map. Not a great start in this round for TSM. And again, it is hard for them to get reliable information in the early part of these rounds. Sometimes they've got to go looking for it manually. There's a lot of risk associated with that, though. Lovely tuck from 7 here, but he can't quite find the second. Decent damage on was Mitch here, but this is going to be the rotate coming in for TSM pretty late with already that deadlock wall set up to stop the push out of vents.
And that is going to be a bit of a nightmare for Poise trying to make his way through. A lot of delay already. I mean, look at the barrier. Trying to break that. Great seize timing to further delay from Mitch as well. Poise would need to win this duel. Almost had a moment to do so.
Caught inside that sonic sensor there. Poise able to win things out, but there's just really not enough time. It has to be now that TSM make the final thrust. Scuba can sit back here, as can Verno. And you have all of TSM have to pull on out. They don't have enough of an edge in this round to attempt a defuse.
It is just ridiculous how good Deadlock is in the post plants. The amount of time wasted trying to break the wall, and then you're shooting it out in the open. So you're scared as hell you're about to get popped out on. Oh, that is so tough for TSM to try and wade through the muck on site. they find the kills and it just doesn't matter.
And look, I mean, Sim serving himself up for free at the start of the round there definitely hurt TSM.
I mean, that is the Sim way. I mean, he is high risk, high reward, punished on that effort.
Okay, pop from long here. Should be able to punish Mitch for this, and that's a spike there. There might be something in this round. How the heck do you recover this now? Burner hoping to flash his way out. Here's getting a little ugly. Hit by Dizzy, and Poise will take the fight. Player advantage now for TSM, and the spike is still loose, but can they afford to keep trying to play for B-Long control? The answer is absolutely. Redux has the spike to hand. There's some damage on a Proto in 7.
Not sure if Dapper made footsteps or if a Proto just had an inkling that hookah lurk would be coming through regardless. Well done shutting that down, and this might be a sad end for Redux.
He's not going to check this. See him able to get value out of that judge this time. And nicely done, that little pop. I mean, if the spike doesn't go loose there, TSM might only get the 1.
Yeah, Oxygen really got punished for trying to re-swing in that situation. Ran into the firing range of the TSM players. Quick tech pause, hopefully. I say quick, hopefully that's not a curse.
Yeah, I mean, look, looking back a little bit now that we have the chance to, it's also possible that TSM are trying to defeat that one way at the top of B-Long by just pushing out of there aggressively early. And that's what the deadlock comp offers you on defense sometimes, is that you need to use her util pretty proactively generally. So TSM run out and say, we need to get this Graphinet down. Let's just throw this out now and make a play around it. Doesn't feel like a defensive agent sometimes, even on that side, which is why we've, dubbed these compositions that feature deadlock as being very good on the attacking side, providing, of course, you can establish post-plant conditions. TSM were forcing Oxygen to fight there because that spike was in Redux's hands. It fell loose really early. Huge round to pick up, and the fact that they can fully buy after the fact also helps. You'll notice, though, of course, that Oxygen have more than enough funds to be going on with.
Yeah, we had seen it from MXS in the game earlier on Lotus when they had to deal with M80 running deadlock on their attack. How they took the fight to M80 in transitional moments. They flooded onto them as they were getting into the site rather than playing for a full retake. It requires a lot of pace and confidence in each other to get in there all aggro at the same time, but that is how you find the advantages against this deadlock comp. You have to be very proactive. Otherwise, you end up in the situations that we just saw from that round 2 ago, where TSM were just stuck breaking a barrier mesh in the post plant, and finding kills afterward didn't even matter because they already wasted so much time. And also, just a heads up for the viewers with the tech pause, Dapper had a DC, so just waiting on him to come back. So should be pretty quick again, hopefully. That's, that's not a curse.
That's knocking wood, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, damn, even though his PC is old, that's brutal. But I mean, something we saw on Lotus, I thought that can carry over to this quite effectively, is that we saw M80 playing that triple Sentinel comp. So MXS on their defense, and they had a great defensive half on Lotus. They kept pushing off the sites. They kept taking these early engagements just to do anything they could to avert the possibility of a post plant. But that also means that all of a sudden, the very safe strategy of playing for retake is no longer available to you, which sucks when you have a team that handles it relatively well, right? You have 7 and Poise, both pretty flash heavy agents, decent amount of util to come back in for those retakes, and that's a strategy that's not always available to you because you're worried about what the deadlock can do to you in those post plants. Forces you to play up a little bit more and expose yourself to some degree of risk, which also might explain why Sim has, surged up a little bit on A short these last couple of rounds, trying to take an early fight.
Yeah, it really will be about finding those flood timings when we get back into this with TSM. Not something they had to encounter before on this map. Watching them last time they played it against SAD, they got to pretty much enact their game plan in a far more straightforward way. And Aproto did a nice job of shutting down lanes on the map on defense as well. Found this value, especially towards Shower. But at the moment, It does seem that we will still be waiting. I think I may have cursed things, Mitch. So we are going to go ahead and send this to, hopefully, I'm not even going to say a small break. We're just going to send it to a break and see what happens. No cursing.
All right, Dapper has got himself back into the server, and we are off to the races once more. So many of these names here in our Challengers playoffs featured last year. In fact, Oxygen got knocked in the lower bracket last year by none other than M80, who have done that to them here as well. So, yes, just like Keg was alluding to, a lot of those storylines repeating themselves here. Speaking of repeating themselves, again, it's that pop over towards B long. Well, the Breeze Smoke is there.
Just to get GMD that orb and the orbital strike ready. Pivot out of showers, trying to catch one of the Oxygen players unaware. Won't happen. TSM double stack towards Octagon.
Good proactive max control here for TSM. He might actually be able to deal with Verno there. I think he shot through the clone and hit Verno. That's unhinged. That behavior, absolutely ridiculous. He's 15 HP pushing a smoke.
No, that is
no.
devious in the smoke. Devious activity from GMD. You can't allow him to get away with that. You just can't. And that was a crucial round. The economy was on the line there.
Oh, brother.
Looks like Oxygen want to buy into this.
Maybe they're trying to make use of these ults here.
Yeah, I suppose so. Verno, yeah, will just be on the stinger.
But they're not.
I mean, I suppose this isn't the worst buy.
Look, these ultimates aren't that good. I mean, Verno at least can do a heck of a lot of info gathering with this dimensional drift. Also, in a pinch popping out of it with a stinger can have an impact. Flash to the two players inside Hookah. It's going to throw Poised and Gimon into disarray. He's got himself into elbow. He'll be sticking around there, I'm sure.
Oh, proactive from GMD. I like this repositioning.
I know that they might have to give up the B site because of the Yoru, but they can play to cut off the rest of those reinforcements. And Gimon can't be doing this again! Unreal! Gimon comes out with another two.
Oh, come
and still,
on.
Verno was stranded with a stinger on that B site.
The thing is now, Poise can't just go down. He needs to find one, but I guess he'll find two. The dominoes topple.
Hey, boy,
this round, Verno's just chilling. He's been behind them for ages. Doesn't even know where to look.
Verno altered to get into the B site. The silver lining being that I guess Oxygen didn't have a chance to use almost all their other ults. So they still have 4.
Holy. All right. Someone's wheeled the copium tank into the studio.
Oh, that is just
That's
absurd.
a tough silver lining. That is tough. GMD is on fire. I mean, GMD has been the foundation of the team. I keep saying it, but he has been so consistent all year, as has Seven. I mean, if you look at the top 3 players statistically in the playoffs right now, number 1, of course, it's Mata. And then number 2, Seven. Number 3, GMD. These two guys are so consistent for TSM. No matter how well they're playing, the ups and downs, they have remained solid.
That might have been one of the rattiest rounds of Valorant I think I've ever seen. TSM with an almost flawless showing there. Jim posted up here on top of the truck, but Mitch sees him. Just the glint of his head. It's more than enough. Trailblazer here won't be clearing Verno. He's tucked just far enough away and he punishes the orb take. Oh, buddy, the circus has come to town.
Yeah, that is awkward. Boys was playing towards Octagon as well, but not synced up with GMD. Now caught between a rock and a hard place. Flashes everywhere. Players from both sides.
And nowhere to get out, really. Cuba just exposes himself. Are they forgetting there's a player in Octagon, perhaps? Or they thought it was cleared.
Have fun with this. Oh, wall's broken. That's fine.
Frodo's able to get in at least. Gravnet, though, it's going to snarl him up, and Verno can finish him off with a 50 here from Oxygen. Okay. Very, very hard to know what to expect round by round here. But TSM able to buy up fully, and Sim's got an operator to hand.
Just as soon as they find an advantage, they have a nice time tossing it away on that one with some really haphazard play. It looked like Sim got caught on the truck trying to ping something out and just gets shot down. Body shots from the Sheriff. Very awkward.
There.
But for TSM, they still have a solid economy. A Proto going to be playing towards Shower, where, again, against Sat, he was really favoring this side of the map. And mixing it up a bit more now, but there goes that barrier to deny this hit through Showers. Oh my god, no way. The Gravnet with the orbital strike. Scuba put into the air fryer.
Oh, man. Not a whole lot I can do about that either. Absolutely snarled up there. Boys able to break the wall here, but we're still in a post-plant. Oxygen have been able to get that spike down. Sim is waiting. He gets that one served up to him. Redux knows something is coming his way, and the showstopper gets mixed in. Now the operator, oh, for Sim, it's all too easy. And back and forth these rounds go. Literal, actual haymakers being traded.
I know, back and forth in obscene fashion. That is so nice from TSM, though, in the moment. Oh, Scuba teleported. We got it. I mean, we got him. That is so crazy. And listen, the sacrifices GMD has been making to get those orbs, they paid off. They finally paid off. Oh my god. This game is going a little bit off the rails.
Very bizarre last couple of rounds here. Still Annihilation and Thrash up for TSM. Draw to bode well here as they do want to take another early push up A short. Again, trying to get ahead of these post-plant situations which feel far too inevitable at times.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a TSM game if we didn't see Sim just walking it down with no regard for human life every single round.
Just zero self-preservation instinct. Might be a quicker flank from TSM. I see how confident Kimon will be to push off of A. In fact, they're not. So much deadlock util here. So much. Okay, through the TP. That's where the clone went, and Scuba is caught inside this. I'm going to take a Proto down, though, before the Annihilation came out. But who can step up to take this? He was freed, but Toys is still able to step in and remove the Omen after the fact. Whiplash I'd have if I was Scuba. And now it's going to be Redux in that 1 versus 2. Challenges the op player, but can't get through Big Boss Kimon.
I mean, brother, I need to hit the pause button in some of these moments. There is so much going on. I like from TSM that pop out into Octagon, a couple pieces of utility, the Gravnet, Flash coming in as well. Trying to be proactive, trying to catch timings onto Oxygen. They're looking pretty synced up in that regard. And then Seven caught that pick onto Verno, who I think teleported into sight somewhere behind them.
Yes.
As in Hookah, they were trying to push out with the Annihilation. Again, a lot going on.
I feel like Verno jumped through TP, but then, gate crashed onto the site.
Yeah, and Seven just caught him as the trades were happening in long, so TSM maintained man advantage. And then he dodged the Annihilation that was coming in from Hookah. Chaotic activity. Oxygen taking a timeout, probably not to just plan out this future round, but maybe take a breather as well.
I think they might still have the orbital strike here to play off. We'll see in a second. Yes. And also, okay, Dimensional Drift is available to them, which can only get a Guardian here, and it's a pretty lightly armored squad in general.
And do they dare Dimensional Drift ping a player and Orbital Strike? Maybe get a Gravnet into the mix, maybe a Seize. Listen, they've got a lot of little options for catching players and making them unable to move. So we'll see if they try to sync something up to find a free kill.
Oh, I think, okay, the gate crash just got seen going into showers, but Verto opts to dive into it during dimensional drift. This is going to clear that A side entirely and basically give you the post plant you're looking for.
Yeah, Verno going to get out of the gate crash, but play in a safer position as the barrier mesh causes some delay in main. When the smoke fades, TSM will realize, oh, we have a nice little chore to do. Breaking that, so the Trailblazer can run through, get some good info. Great orbital strike timing, though.
Timing for Dapper was decent there to take him down, but Kimon was able to respond from tower. There's 2 players set up there. Nat Thrash, we just heard that go out. Looks like there was a catch, a detain. A Protoss drop down. Scuba's able to deal with him there and a TP to safety to repost that angle a little bit later. Mitch and Redux here playing in those standard post-plant positions. They can stop Wingman and Seven. And Poise only has an operator to play with here. There's nothing else to be done in this round for TSM. This is Oxygen fighting tooth and nail for their right to attend Ascension.
All good. Poise has, they have hella money. All good. Again, it's these post plants on A. This is where Oxygen are finding their success, and it's because of the comp that they have. All of that util for delay is so good. We've been talking about it all day ad nauseum, but it's just the barrier mesh delaying as soon as the smoke fades. Oh, cool. We have to waste our time breaking that. As they're spamming it down, orbital strike. Oh, cool. We have to get out of the way. But then Sim had to push forward alone. That's where Oxygen are finding their success. That's where they're putting rounds on the board.
Slower start, though, with some shower take by Oxygen. Note the spike location here. We are playing ourselves a default. Plenty of money for TSM after that previous round, which allowed Sim to get another operator in hand, and it's been put to good use at the start of this round. Dapper being forced to raw contact gets punished.
Just going to satchel out of there at that. I like this defensive setup from TSM. They have that op focused on B, which is going to make Oxygen feel like they should go to A, where the Sentinel utility awaits them.
I like the net connection there, and Seven was able to capitalize. Redux had nowhere to go. Koi out in the open on short. Gimel not able to make use of that stim field as much as he would have liked there, and the second swing comes out. Mitch is low, but Oxygen are finding purchase now onto this A side. Poised is there, though, and it's virtually stacked. 3K for the young man. That's TSM to find their 6th of the half.
Poise is really stepping up individually on this map. Has had some high impact multi-kills. Impressive from the IGL of TSM. And again, that was just a great defensive setup. Credit to Sim for finding that first kill. You can trust him to be in every single first blood engagement, live or die. And it looks like TSM want to just go right back to the same recipe.
There.
Against a weak buy from Oxygen. Their final attempt at getting around on the attack app.
Where are you?
They have thrown everything at TSM on this attack side. Everything. Coming up short, though, over the last couple of rounds. The chance here to equalize at least before the half.
Face your fear!
Going to play off of that with Seven. He gets brought down instantly. Gravnet. Gimon able to deal with Verno as he TP'd in to try and capitalize. We are still crouched. Still crouched. The Proto here is marked. Caught inside that smoke. Decent place to play from defensively. And yep, gets the timing on the Dapper. Can't convert it into a kill on Mitch. And Gimon with a shorty. Deals with Redux. Spend most of the round crouched down, but Scuba emerges. What timing? Going to be able to TP out of that orbital strike, but takes a decent amount of damage. It's a 1 versus 1. Gimon versus Scuba. The latter at 65 HP, and Gimon finds 4 in the round. The guy has been demon mode over the course of this map.
Oh, he's unstoppable. He's devious in the smokes. He can't get away with it with the shorty, but he does, man. No matter what Oxygen do, someone on TSM, they're going to kill 4 players. They are peaking at the right time individually, man. They are frying Oxygen when it comes down to these gun duels.
He was sat inside that Gravnet, crouched for so long, I thought he was doing a bush poop after having curry the night before. The man did not move.
It's ridiculous.
17-8.
Absurd. And now we have to see what Oxygen are made of with this unique approach, a unique comp here on Bind. That Yoru did not find a whole lot of value on the attacking side. Did some information gathering, but really unable to capitalize off of
Well,
it in most of the situations.
Spent more time looking at the inside of his eyelids than at his crosshair most of the round. Verno just got picked off a couple times, was forced into awkward TPs. I mean, if that was Gimond, I would know this would be on. Which is being pinged on the other side of that smoke, though. Should be a double face here.
I'll find you.
Okay, here's that horn. Now they definitely confirmed the location of Mitch here. Who knows there's at least one player on the other side of that smoke. Just a shoulder peek. Doesn't want to challenge here with a frenzy. Orb going over to TSM.
Boys just being spotted long as well towards B. TSM deciding to fall off of shower after fighting for it, gaining control there. Proto showing himself on short and all of that attention. Look at the minimap, and I mean, we're on his POV now. Verno was considering rotating over to A, not feeling it's necessary as there are already 3 players there and more than enough time on the clock for TSM to make a rotate to hit B, which is exactly their intention. Though, with all their players long, they could also teleport off if they deem it necessary.
30 seconds left.
Hit A late.
Sonic Sensor catches on towards 7. Yeah, he'll be picked up as a result. No chance to follow up, at least there for TSM. They find their trade. Verno's into the back of sight. Boys shows at the top of container. That gives that information over. But a Proto was blinded at the time. Great setup by Scuba with the paranoia and a clean pistol for Oxygen. Climbing back into the driver's seat once more.
A lot of credit to Dapper being able to hold that sight. He's been a bit quiet in this series. The veteran, the international champion, but in that moment, it just comes down to well-placed utility that allows his team to win that out, to get the rotation in on time, but also just delay for the anchors. So well done from him and the rest of the team on the fast flood. And TSM are forcing up. They're forcing up after getting the spike down. What a big risk to take right now.
It's not even a round where they have ultimates they're trying to play around here. I think
It's just straight up stingers. Are they just intending to burst down long with all of this? They have to at least wait out the one way. The advantage of running this Omen on the map.
Blinded.
And the one way just getting cycled. Further delay.
eventually you have to make a play. They might just disrespect this behind the flash.
Here.
Yeah, they're picking both sides, expecting a double-faced setup, but they don't have the one way to break it up themselves. Okay, so they'll force Cooper off the angle, but he bought an entire minute for Oxygen there. And he can just jump each here.
They still don't know that this is a force. Might be in danger.
Okay, despite the deadlock util, TSM have been able to get onto the site. Now those things can start to go to work. Cooper falling first. Dapper just wildly spraying. He's caught out of the action inside Hookah. What is he supposed to do from here?
I mean, what can he do? He has a judge. He has 70 HP. No one is trying to flank him. Just has to find a timing to jump out and pray.
There's an outlaw here for Verno, which is fine most of the time, but in a retake? Kimon hears all of this. Every footstep. He knows that's the clone too. He's going to be ready. Oh, the spray down was pretty good. Finding one almost a second. Verno very, very low on the site, and eventually Poise turns his attention to Dapper, who was tilling in Hookah. TSM force up for that round with mostly stingers. And they wait out that one-way cycle for a whole minute. And that is a comfortable thrifty win.
Legitimately just rush the site. And that is it. They conceal themselves down long. They get close. They rush. Who was that who took first contact? I think it was Verno or Scuba, whomever it was. Yeah, it was Scuba. Just probably not expecting for them to be in his face with stingers all of a sudden. When he was going for those jump spots, he didn't actually see them, didn't actually see the weapons in hand. A risk from TSM. They could have just saved, had it at 7-7, gone for a full buy, but nope, they go for it and win out. High risk, high reward, and such is the TSM way.
And there, Rush got caught by that deadlock util on the way in. There was a sonic sensor that went off.
Blocking movement.
There was still no opportunity to play off of that because they smoked Hookah and trapped Dapper inside with a judge. Brutal. Now TSM have not seen fit to invest too heavily in such a round. Forcing up in the prior one, even with a win, means they're not quite back up to steady footing economically. They're just stacking.
Just take those small weapon upgrades from Oxygen, bringing in that Outlaw, the Bulldog, etc. Very slow pace from TSM as Poise uses that Trailblazer to re-clear all of Shower. Know that they have full access to it. Sim inserted pretty deep on short, and given their positioning of these two TSM players, you can see the rest of the team rotating over to go into an A exec, and I think Oxygen are aware if you look at the mini-map. They have an inkling.
They're ready for this. They stacked the correct site, and eventually TSM came to them. Sim, like a bat out of hell, hits that side, and Scuba just wins the... What is going on? Okay, Oxygen with basically a full save in this round have brought TSM to their knees. Game on able to make short work of Mitch and Redux respectively. We are in a post plant at the very least.
Last player standing.
And apparently 7 with the Outlaw gets brought down. Okay, Oxygen.
What is this
TSM
game?
back.
What is this game, man? They just had their either, you know, they had an inkling, they had some amount of a read, and you're going to gamble on the eco. And TSM run straight into the stack. Oxygen felt comfortable staying after the Trailblazer re-clears all of Shower. And all that good work from TSM on the Force out the window. They're full buying into the round, whatever they can afford, and that means a stinger for Poison. If they lose here, the economy is broken.
Still looking ahead with a round like that, we saw TSM after the Force. They bought into the next round pretty conservatively, enough that they, you know, could almost full buy this one. Just Poised, I think, struggling for money. So there's still a threat, genuine threat here, especially with a Thrash available to them. Redux is being extremely cagey about how he operates around this smoke, one that he himself deployed. And there is a sonic sensor on the other side of the doorway from TSM, so they need to be careful.
Obviously hearing these jump leads aware. Crosser's placed and Redux punished for it. Sonic sensor removed from the wall as well. Thrash going to come through. It looks like an A split is the intention. Perhaps not after this barrier mesh has been deployed though. And right now look at Oxygen on the minimap. They pushed all the way out of B down Fountain. TSM are going to accelerate now.
There's the grab net though. Sim caught in that. Annihilation here, Wyatt. Is there a catch? Hard to see. A 7 is going to be
did catch one. It's got Sim.
And he got out, but still got brought down by Dapper. Now we're even in numbers, but we are in a post plant once more. TSM making sure they don't get caught by a late flank here. And Verno can go and check out all these post plant positions. And he does spot 7 inside Shower. He's actually falling off that position as well. Double flash out for Verno. Oh, Gimon caught. Hands down. Still a couple of players up A short that need to be addressed, and Verno is now out of utility. Good damage on a Proto though through those boxes, and eventually he's brought down. It's Dapper in a 1 versus 1. 7, no mollies. And gets him off the plant. Still gets it a halfway to Dapper, but down to 5 HP. This is going to be a tough ask. The swing, it's good, and the ammunition wasn't there for Dapper. TSM get back into it. Another messy, muddy round.
Just didn't have the bullets. That could have been a great moment for Dapper to step up. A lot of credit, again, to the IGL Poise. We didn't actually see it on cam. There was so much going on, but there was a fight on the flank. After, I said earlier in the round, that push out deep Fountain from Oxygen, and Poise won a 1v1 with the Stinger on a flanking Mitch, so they could focus all of their attention forward. That's a high impact kill from the IGL, who's fragging really well right now, and this is an opportunity for TSM to snowball. No ultimates right now for Oxygen. They have a showstopper, Seekers, one off of the orbital strike, and an opportunity to break Oxygen's economy, reduce it to dust. This is a massively pivotal round. If TSM can take this, they will be on the cusp of winning this game. It will put them at such an advantage. 10 on the board, anti-eco to get 11.
At the very least, Oxygen know there's someone hanging around outside Shower. All the TSM are starting to trend in this direction. Showstopper for Sim. No ultimates of note here for Oxygen.
Oh my god, they are just fully walking down.
This would get clear. Oh, 7 shows too much leg around the corner. Immediately the Nightfall gets thrown off. This should hopefully slow TSM down. Looks like there was even a very messy opportunity there for TSM. And they've still encroached themselves up towards A short. That one way will be an issue. Redux can refresh it. The showstopper here from Sim.
Just shut down straight away by Scuba and has the shower control now. Oxygen should be able to convert. TSM would have to do something truly miraculous at this juncture, but they are just going to be relegated to this save.
Yeah, not much more can be done here. I think the money is just not in a good enough position. At least Sim can buy up in the next round. But that's it. And Oxygen, great composure in this round. Also the idea to sort of move up and take some of that A short control. Seven just swung that corner. It looked as if, Wyatt, TSM were ready to flash themselves into that part of the map. But I think they got their wires crossed.
What a confident call from Mitch. The IGL and took point, found that first kill, which got the Nightfall, uses it to back off, makes the reasonable play there. What a confident decision in the mid-round. Nicely played from Oxygen. And again, to go back to what I was saying at the beginning, that was such a swing round. Yes, TSM, they were able to save it, so they have a bye here, but they got out the Showstopper and the Seekers while winning that round.
In the shower they go here. Redux ready to fight them. Stim beacon thrown down. He wanted to try and hold his ground somewhat. Fortunately, that blows up in his face. Orbital strike. Able to get out. Verno removes himself from the situation and then just sets up in tower. Huge pick off, and that was a spike going loose. This would definitely slow TSM up a little bit, but Mitch was not ready for Seven to be lurking in the smoke. Took some notes from Gimon's playbook, apparently. And that is the plant completed. Scuba almost had the timing to interrupt it. But he'll be happy enough with that kill on a Proto. He sees Gimon push up on him. He went into the smoke. Seven wins out against Verno here. Scuba's got a heck of a lot of work to do to salvage this. Molly to deny any defuse opportunity, and Gimon eventually brings him down. It is back and forth stuff here. Neither team really able to stabilize, but it's Oxygen who has the money to work with still for another buy.
A round in the safe hands of GMD and Seven. Two of the statistical top three players right now in the Challengers playoffs. A minuscule mistake there, not even minuscule, a large mistake. Poise running out before the smoke actually went down from GMD. A miscommunication or just simply not being aware, focused on something else, but they're still able to recover. Nonetheless, Seven making us another, that was a round of micro plays. Seven just going in front of the barrier that a Proto threw down to get the pick.
Blinded.
Cheeky.
There.
And it worked out.
I'm out. TSM are mostly able to buy here still.
Yeah, and just facing down these one-ways again, which are pretty oppressive to deal with.
They don't wait this one out fully, though. I think they broom smoked their way up. Be long here.
Cover going out.
Much the same way you can counter the one-way over at C Mound on Lotus. And this is going to be very telling.
Oh yeah!
Paranoia they're thrown. They might try and chase Poise down. They're going to clear this B side, though, with the Thrash. They don't know it's more than one player inside Hookah yet. But Poise has fallen off of this so well. He's such a nuisance here.
I know, look at this reflank from him. If he catches a nice timing, that could everything in Sim. Oh, what? Here's them reloading, just swings through. No one's covering that.
And that late reflank still relevant, but Scuba is looking for it.
One enemy remaining.
What presence of mind from Scuba? And now we can ult back into a more relevant location or to get information.
He spotted him.
He does have Thrash. Seven, though, not safe to use it in a 1 versus 2. Scuba commits, fully commits and is brought down. Seven has to know a play is close. It's 7v Redux and Seven takes it out. A huge clutch for TSM.
Right there.
And they have 3 rounds clear.
Happening, man. This game is wild. Again, it's just micro plays all over the place. Everyone's going for something.
One enemy.
Poise said, okay, bet I'm going for the longest flank of all time, which somehow Scuba was aware of, which is crazy. Sim just hears the reload, swings out of the smoke alone. No setup, no flashes. I mean, there couldn't be flash. Poise is on the longest flank of all time. Perfect timing. No one has their eyes on the smoke with the gun out. Oh my God, man. This is just chaotic. And it wouldn't be a TSM game if it wasn't like this, Mitch. And it also wouldn't be a TSM game if it weren't GMD and Seven coming up huge. But you gotta respect Poise's individual performance in this match. Genuinely, I mean, despite what was happening in that round, has gotten so many high impact multi-kills. This is coming from a guy who's very focused on IGLing the team. Individually, statistically coming into this, was the second lowest sorted by ACS in the playoffs, and is now coming up really big in some pivotal moments for the squad to beat Oxygen. TSM have never beaten any of the other teams remaining in this tournament. They've lost to M80 twice. They lost to Oxygen in the regular season, lost to Moist Shopify in the regular season. This is the first time that they're actually really punching up and could beat one of these teams, and it's during the playoffs. I mean, talk about peaking at the right time.
You said it, man. No better time to do it. Now TSM just really need to land the plane here. One more round of this economy of Oxygen is broken. One more round and their opponents are forced to force buy on match point. 7 steps up to the side already. This is very expedient from TSM. Verno's trying to make his way through this wall here. It's a bit of an issue for him. They do have Shower's presence though. A lot of map control for Oxygen. It's a matter of being able to use it effectively here now. As these smokes start to clear, there's about to be a fight. Now the real plant. Got to be stopped. Wingman brought down. Eventually TSM have to wager something of their own. They're going to pull out and go towards the B side of the map. There are 2 players here, and the gate crash was used by Verno to be in position to hold an angle and wait for this.
TSM are just trying to run back with GMD still in. Showerbits caught by the sonic sensor. Capitalized upon by Redux. Sim was also inserted in lamps. Can he find a timing to even this up? Pushing forward on the side. Oh my god, the spray control is lovely. Falls back as the team arrives.
Orbital strike here. Got to stop the plan once more. 29 seconds left in the round, and Poise is on that late reflank once more. It's going to be Mitch takes contact inside U-Haul and deals with 7. Spike in the hands now of the deadlock, but it's Sim and a Proto that have to try and find a way out of this situation. They are going to be surrounded, accosted, a Proto with it all to do. And Verno brings him down. Another frantic round. Sees Oxygen get one back.
Yeah, absolute madness. TSM trying to go for a bait, a rebait, all types of baiting as they inserted Sim into lamps.
So many types of bait.
Tried to fake to B, go back to A. Madness. Really high impact kill from Redux in that moment, though, when the sonic sensor was triggered over in Shower, caught GMD, was stunned up. Instant swing capitalizes off that, gets that advantage, and then just being able to fight from the Shower angle while all of TSM are funneled short just sets up a beautiful defensive crossfire.
Okay, a chance for TSM here to take a breath. Their money.
Time for us, too.
Yeah.
My God, man. This game is going off the rails, but in a great way.
Yeah, these last few rounds have been legitimately so back and forth. You'll see it on the round counter in a moment. Literally tit for tat, but it's TSM who are on the weaker side of the economy. I think coming to a round like this, they might actually be properly saving, giving Oxygen a chance to break back in. But last time we saw TSM half buy or force with those stingers into a round, they just clambered over that B side and took it to task. It was a thrifty win with 3 players still standing. They are gonna not entirely force down here, so
Bring your best.
still see enough for a next round buy. Sim with a Guardian in hand and a Proto, of course. Got Annihilation online to match that of Dapper.
Sound sensor up.
Already this half, we have seen 2 thrifty wins. So not out of the question that with the form these TSM players are in individually, they could find some shots here. They're headed towards this B site where Oxygen have a double stack in Octagon, which would be perfect if a hit comes just straight out of Hookah, but TSM will be taking their time and they want to go re-clear that area of the map. After making noise in Hookah, they might be able to find a pick here. Scuba jiggling, spotted Verno on the cross.
He can't fall off of it. He's supposed to be in a double face here with Verno. Beautiful. This time, much cleaner from Oxygen. And that's the round right there and then, folks. Just a Proto now with a long distance between himself and the Spike. And notice the money here for Oxygen. Starting to build a little more. This is going to give them a buffer to basically buy for the rest of regulation. Proto's able to get the Guardian. Try and do some damage here. Just finds the one, and Verno exits the round with 4 kills.
Yeah, just a simple little bait set up with the crossfire. works to perfection. A clean round for Oxygen, which is going to allow the economy to stabilize, which means that for the rest of this game, if we keep trading rounds back and forth, they will be able to continue to buy up. I mean, for this game to be coming down to the wire like this, an Oxygen team that have been playing with Dapper, the only addition to this team in a year, 1 year ago was added. They have been prepping for playoffs right now to make it to Ascension.
Shower's going to be checked here. No early pop to try and set up a sound sensor from Oxygen this time around. It's a pretty straightforward A split in the works for TSM. Verno's going to have to play close with that, and he gets caught out of tower. This could be a problem. Verno has to TP on out of there. Looks like no catch off the annihilation. He's able to find a pick and fall back off the angle. Now, though, Oxygen will be forced to play into this retake. They do have the wall to contend with. One, of course, that can be circumvented by that Yoru. But this is huge. Verno's going to pop out now and have to make this retake happen with an op. Flash comes in over from U-Haul here. A Proto going to be stunned up for a moment. It's going to be Verno finding a huge kill. Redux now going to give them the hot foot inside U-Haul. It's going to make it hard to get out onto the side. He's going to go for a tap. Verno reposts here, but gets caught by a Proto. They're not ready for the drop out of tower. And TSM get to match point. A point that would deny Oxygen the chance to compete in Ascension yet again.
And again, just coming down to some of these individual fights. TSM are just white hot today. A Proto swinging into lamps late finds that trade on Scuba, who collected GMD maybe 5-6 seconds prior. Wins that duel straight up. 7 finds the timing to swing back triple. What's happening in those moments, not very complex. It's TSM, all 5 players. It just feels like they've got the hot hands. Any of them can shoot right now. And Oxygen are struggling to stay in this.
Showstopper available here for TSM. Paranoia here going to slow things up a little bit, and Dapper does throw up the annihilation. This is for deterrence, if nothing else. He's going to go for it, caught midway through. But he's actually able to avoid it. It doesn't catch onto him, but he gets stunned up as he hits the site, and Redux brings him down. Scuba goes low, presumably from that showstopper itself. The Poison's able to bring Dapper down, and Verno charges on in. This is the last ditch here for Oxygen. Their last chance. Brash got caught. Couldn't get out of the corner. 7 is stuck there with 31 HP. And now Redux wants to step up behind that Sky Smoke. Looks like he's refreshed the one way towards short. That wall needs to be taken care of. Makes enough noise to wake the dead, but it'll be alive at the very least here. It's all up to 7 now. 7 v Mitch, and 7 for his 4th in the round. Just needs to stay alive here. And Mitch has the C's to play with, but that's it. 7 doesn't want to give him anything. Stuck in the corner, and Mitch eventually finds him. Oxygen keep their heads above water, but only just.
I mean, absolute.
Wait!
Oh, no! Point 10! I thought he had it! But he just doesn't!
And what could be more heartbreaking than that? What could be worse? The second year consecutively missing out on Ascension for Oxygen, the team that everyone said were engineered to win that tournament. They're not even going to be there. A matter of seconds and just incredible patience. Not to take a fight in that 1 versus 1. Wins the game for TSM and advances them further into this lower bracket.
And for TSM to be the ones who do it, I mean, I can't believe it. Up until this point, TSM, they didn't beat Oxygen in the regular season. They didn't beat MXS in the regular season. They've lost to M80 twice. They have not been able to punch up yet. And they are peaking during the playoffs. 1 game away from TSM making it to Ascension. Nobody would have predicted this. I'm pretty stunned, man. They are white hot right now. The form is outrageous. Everyone on that team coming up with huge dual wins, 1v1s at crucial times, multi-kills. Even when they're out of a round, when Oxygen did everything perfect, and GMD just comes through with a 4K. I mean, madness.
I can't believe it. That is such a heartbreaking way to lose and be knocked out of a tournament. Absolute devastation there for Oxygen. TSM, though, peaking at the right time, like you said at Wyatt. Get through with a 2-0 win. We're going to throw the desk here and have them talk us through what we just witnessed. What a game.
What did we just witness? 0.1 seconds, TSM squeak into the top 3. This is not only a team that creates chaos, but thrives in it. A team who said they haven't reached the heights they expected, but they overcame their own demons to be one of the best teams that we have in Challengers. Keg, my jaw is on the floor. TSM top 3.
Look, I love everybody on TSM, but I will say this has to be the biggest upset in North American Valor of the year.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. And like, where do you want to begin, right? Because the Oxygen, they wanted to create a super team. They were already good last year. They lost out to the Guard. They became G2. They lost to the Ascension winners. And they were like, you know what? We're not going to take any breaks at all in this offseason. We're going to play every offseason event. We're going to play every LAN. We're going to dominate every LAN. I don't think there's one they lost. But regardless, though, between their loss last year to now, they did not stop playing. And they kept winning for this exact moment. And let me get, here's the thing, right? All of that progress, everything they've done, led up to them losing in the same exact spot they did last year.
Wow.
Which is kind of wild to say because, I mean, they've had an amazing stage 1, a great midseason cup, a fantastic stage 2. And, you know, they're going up against a team that has sort of been, you know, we joke a lot about TSM and we call them mid and we do all these things, but they've always had that potential. But for me, the wildest thing is in that second map on Bind, it really did not feel like Oxygen was playing poorly. They legitimately had good ideas. They had good execution, but someone on TSM, they were just alternating slot, like roulette. Who's going to be the next person? Dropping a 3K, dropping a 4K, saving the round. Like every person on TSM popped off. One round it was GMD, the next one it was Poised, then it was Johan Hernandez 7 dropping, gets his 1v2 clutch. Like it is so wild. That might not have been the sexiest Valorant we've ever seen, but it was definitely the most entertaining.
Look, it's a big case of just underestimating your opponents. That's something you can never really do, no matter what circumstances the competition is, right? TSM, they punched well above their weight, and honestly, now they're almost there. They are just a few games away from potentially going to Ascension 2. This is a team that last year, I'm sorry, they only won one map last year in the playoffs.
No one tell Koala Noob what happened on July 29th, okay, at 6 p.m. Pacific. Koala Noob was like, yeah, we'll see Oxygen in the final. Don't tell him. Don't tell him what happened. But
He's the one that cursed it.
Oh, we found it. We found the reason.
Yeah. That, and hey, we had questions on whether Verno could pull off the Yoru, and Roy, we were really stoked to see that the Yoru worked out. It was fun.
Okay, on his defense, Verno did play extremely well on the Yoru, right? Like it really was not, it was not a strategy flaw. It was not like the comp was so wacky, it kind of put them in a disadvantage. Like legitimately, it was a great series, but TSM, and every opportunity they needed to step up, they stepped up.
They really did. They always do. Every time you doubt them, they just come back stronger. But I don't think you guys want to go anywhere either, because after this break, I'm going to have an interview with someone from TSM to talk about what this match was. So stay tuned.
One enemy remaining. One enemy. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down. One enemy remaining. 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 Ready.
We just witnessed just the most incredible 2 series that had us on the edge of our seats. A big congratulations to TSM, who 2-0 Oxygen. And on the line, it's none other than Poised, IGL from TSM. Man, that was so... I'm more excited than you are almost in this moment. Bring me through this win. It came down to the wire. The spike explodes at point. Like, no seconds left. You're in the top 3. What does this moment mean to you and the team?
It means everything, you know, because like last year, TSM made top 6, or FaZe top 6, TSM top 8, and Moist in the top 3. So like, we're glad that we all made it like farther than we were last year and have a chance to make it to Mexico, you know? We put in a lot of hard work in the last 2-3 weeks for playoffs, and the results are showing. We're really coming together as a team.
You really are, and through all the challenges, and I want to speak about that because we've seen better Valorant out of your team. We've seen the growth you've done too. Bring me through kind of the challenges you faced not only in this series, but over the stage as a whole to be in a top 3 position.
I think our biggest challenge was just sometimes playing together as a team when things get hectic, you know? So one of the biggest things we started doing together was every single freeze time or like before the game at halftime, we all like breathe together. We do breathing exercises, just calm the nerves, you know? And the more we play together as a team, then the more games we win. Like ever since we started playing as a team fully throughout every situation, you know, never taking solo peaks for the most part, just trying to swing everything together, you know? When you do things together, it just comes together nicely. Like it just worked. I don't know, I'm still hyped right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was hype, and we all kind of went into Bind, like itching our heads, like what is this kind of Yoru on the other side? Like when you saw this composition out of Oxygen, did it throw you for a loop? Did it throw you off your game plan, or did you just stick to what you knew?
So the crazy thing is, some teams have scrimmed us with this comp before, so we had a little bit like of what to know to expect. So it wasn't our first time playing this comp, and we knew we were strong in this map. We just had to counter-strat ourselves and show them a different look, like a different game plan. And safe to say the game plan worked out pretty well.
Yeah, you scrapped your way through it, but that was so fun to watch through all the chaos. Was there one person, whether on the team or maybe in the back rooms, that was a big difference maker, whether for you personally or to help the team get to this point?
Well, I think every single person on this team stepped up, you know, from the coaching staff to the players. Like, Faded, our coach, he put in so many hours, like every single night, so many hours counter-stratting, figuring out game plans with me, VOD viewing, and then the players too. Like every single player today stepped up big, you know. Like every single player had a clutch, every single player had a big round. The comms were amazing, you know. We just really came together today to show what we got, and it was amazing to see. Honestly, amazing to see.
Yeah, because it was all about who was the better team in playoffs, not what happened in the regular season. And you guys showed up on the day, and it was so incredible to see you guys really reach that peak. And your next match, I mean, the fight is not over. You have Moist Shopify as your next match. What are your thoughts on that?
It's gonna be a good match, and like, you know, I used to be teammates with Flyer. He's a really good IGL now. Like, he put in a lot of work, but I just gotta get revenge for my boys, you know. So you got Sim and a Proto that were on that team before, and I used to be on that Flyers team, so we just gotta get our little get back. This is the time.
Okay, a little bit of a grudge match. I'm excited to see. Well, congratulations. Enjoy the rest of your celebrations with the team, and best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Take care.
Thanks. And that was Poised from TSM, a 2-0 over Oxygen. I still have to pinch myself to see if this is real life, and I got to bring my analysts back to make sure I'm still in. Am I in a coma? I can't believe
this is
wake
real.
up!
This is real life.
The 2 different voices. I love that.
It was years ago.
The voices.
And you could just tell, honestly, like from like Poise's demeanor, like he couldn't stop smiling. Like you could tell they were really happy to. I mean, Oxygen has been undeniably we call them the big 3, right? They were one of the big 3s. It was Oxygen, Moist, and M80. And to defeat Oxygen it must be extremely good for TSM's mental, and probably the missing piece that they've needed, because they haven't had any like long streaks of success, right? So to have a win over Oxygen must do wonders for the team morale and the team kind of energy.
It was such a great day, Keg. Like, we're not having Dark Zero in the top 3. We're not having Oxygen in the top 3. Even Blinn could have been a surprising, like, deeper run. And playoffs ended up being really wild.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you had asked me, right, I would think that Oxygen would make a flawless run through the upper bracket. They've been the team, I think, that practiced the most out of anybody else, but at the end of the day, it really matters when it comes to the matches themselves. I am very curious to see between the Moist and TSM matchup who ends up winning and joining M80. But M80 themselves, they've definitely stepped up their own game since picking up Net. And I gotta say, this Ascension's could be the best one yet.
It really is. We're already sending one incredible team in M80 to Ascension, and they wait in the grand finals for the winner of MXS and TSM. That's going down tomorrow, y'all. 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, a little bit before if you want to catch our pre-show. And we're going to be sending one more team to Ascension. We hope you'll all join us for the start to the end of this journey. Tomorrow we have the lower bracket final, and then the day after, we'll have the grand final. So thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Clutch. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. 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 Right there. I get big. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy. Last player. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike down A. One enemy remaining. 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 Ready. One enemy. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
The game starts, long before the game starts. And warm hands are faster hands. Gain the upper hand and power up your pregame warm-up with Zippo hand warmers.